Hello, are you or someone you know constantly getting sick? Maybe you're hearing someone say, "Oh, my child's school got shut down because there's so much illness going around. Oh, there's some bug going around in the office. Everyone is sick." Or maybe you're working from home and maybe you're going on that Zoom meeting or Microsoft Teams and half the people in the meeting look like they are ready to fall asleep or they are constantly sick. Maybe you're watching your local sports team and wondering, why is my favorite player of this team, why is our best player not playing yet again? Why are they constantly saying illness? What does illness mean? Yeah, this is something that is constantly being heard. Maybe you're even just seeing the comment sections of social media or just your regular timeline itself. And someone saying, well, the little one's got a bug again. Here we go yet again. Wonder what virus it is this time. This is a theme that is being heard not just in the United States, all around the world. Today in this video, I'm going to help you understand some of the reasons, not all the reasons, there's a lot of reasons, as to why this might be happening. Come with me on this journey over the next 20 minutes as I will hopefully help explain some of the reasons as to why so many people constantly keep getting sick again and again and again. Okay? Starting off here, I'm Data Report. I do virus updates every day. I talk about the various different viruses right here on YouTube. I even have a website where I document things about these various different viruses, illness outbreaks. Take a look at this. Just recently, the respiratory illness levels in the United States are listed at high. This is one of the worst respiratory virus seasons we have seen in 30 years for flu and other viruses as well. I mean, we can say actually the worst season 30 years for other viruses because, well, 30 years ago we didn't have COVID into the mix. Add that in there, RSV has been a bad virus. Norovirus this year has been absolutely off the charts. I mean, yeah, what's going on here? Sports-related illnesses. Take a look at this. 2025 U.S. sports illness thread, where I track cases of players getting sick. Now, mind you, I have missed some lately. I mean, it has been hard to keep up. It is already on page 7. There's already 101 replies. We're only at today's date being February 21st. Obviously, you're seeing this at a later date and time, this video. You get the point. A lot of people have been ill. Some players are constantly out sick again and again and again. The National Basketball Association, NBA, has been hit particularly hard, and I don't think anyone has any answer as to why player participation is just so low. People are constantly getting sick. Then you go over to your favorite entertainers, musicians, and whatnot. Yeah, there were a lot of them that were sick last year. We tracked that in 2024. We started tracking late. It was already into summer, and the list just went on and on. Then there's a list for this year. This year's list is constantly growing. Now, this winter, I have never seen so many schools closed for illness. I've seen a lot of schools in past years where you close because it's a snow day. Okay, that's normal. Here, I've been tracking school illnesses since the start of this year, and matter of fact, I've missed a few schools. It's already up to page 5, and I believe there are like 15 posts on each page, so, most of them being schools announcing that they're closed, some being multiple schools in one post. And it's not just any particular state in the United States. It goes from state to state to state. All right, well, what's going on? You're wondering, well, why are people constantly getting sick right now? Well, take a look at this. This is the influenza-like illness map across the United States. Here's the current levels as of February 15th. Yeah, they're pretty darn high. And let's go back. We can see here, it has been a long winter. This actually started all the way back in November, going into December, and it just kept building, kept building. It peaked after the holidays, and then look what happened. Yeah, it actually got worse again. And right now, some places are starting to improve. Some places are getting worse. Things are just not going well at all for these viruses. So you need to understand a couple of things before I can go and give you to the why this might be happening. First off, let's take a look at the signs and symptoms of flu. And here we go. Flu, the symptoms are fever, cough, sore throat, runny nose or stuffy nose, muscle or body aches, headaches, fatigue, tiredness. Some people may have vomiting and diarrhea, though this is more common in children than adults. You get the idea here. And then some people can get severe flu, and they can go on to be hospitalized. You know what? Severe flu, the cases of that, they are up this year. But why are they up this year? There was a virus that first started back in 2019 and, well, continued into 2020. And in 2020, it became a pandemic. Remember this virus? Yeah, you don't hear much about it on the news. We hear so much about flu this winter, and rightfully so. Flu is bad this winter. There's actually a recent report that says flu deaths are higher than COVID deaths right now. It's true. Look it up. Flu deaths have actually been worse. But by the year's end, I think COVID's going to try and give it a run for its money. So let's talk about the symptoms of COVID. Here's the signs and symptoms. The following list does not include all possible symptoms. I mean, there are some weird and strange symptoms out there. There are many, many different symptoms of COVID, but here's some of them, and symptoms can vary among the different COVID variants. You know, COVID is a virus that continuously pops out new variants. I mean, each year there are many, many new variants, and believe it or not, since COVID has started, there is probably way north of 100 variants. I mean, there's all these mini subvariants. Some of them never become big, some of them do. All right, fever or chills, cough, shortness of breath, difficulty breathing, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, new loss of taste or smell, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, trouble breathing, persistent pain or pressure in the chest, new confusion, inability to stay awake. I mean, some of these things sound similar to flu. Hey, you know what? Maybe it's not a bad idea. If you get sick, maybe you should go get tested for the viruses to make sure you don't have one of these more serious viruses, such as COVID, flu. RSV is another virus out there. Pneumonia. There's a whole bunch of different viruses. You should get tested to see what it is, because you know what happens? If you don't get tested and you think, oh, it's just a cold, I'll be fine. Yeah, you then go on to spread the virus to other people. And by spreading the virus to other people, the number of cases continue to multiply. Yeah, that's not a good thing. And if it's COVID and more people keep getting sick, well, that's not good. Because COVID can go on to do something else. What is that thing? Yeah, it can actually go on to become long COVID. You want to know what long COVID is? Maybe you've never heard that phrase before because you have toned yourself out from all the virus reports on the news. You laughed at it, you don't watch it anymore. I'm not going to do that anymore. Whoa, wait a second. Step back. Pause. You need to learn what long COVID is. It's something that millions of people are dealing with. It's something that's continuing to get worse each time we have a COVID wave here in the United States. And yes, I know there can also be long flu. That's another thing within itself, something that seems to be becoming more common because, well, we'll explain in a moment. Long COVID is when you get COVID and your symptoms persist and they keep on going. Say past 4 weeks or say past 3 months or 6 months. You're still dealing with symptoms. Or symptoms then go on to get worse. Yeah, that's long COVID. And long COVID can have over 200 different symptoms. It can cause a chain reaction of events. It can cause a lot of things to happen. Let's just go through some of the things that can occur with long COVID. You could have tiredness or fatigue. Yeah, that tiredness or fatigue from when you first test positive for COVID can linger. It can actually go on to become chronic fatigue syndrome. It can go on to be a lot of different things. Some people get so tired they can't get out of bed every day. They can't do simple tasks. They lose their jobs. They lose their houses. Yeah, that is a thing. Symptoms that get worse after physical or mental effort. So say you get up and just do some simple tasks. That could be enough to make some people tired post-COVID. Fevers that don't go away. It's a thing. It can happen. There's a few people in the media that have this issue with long COVID. I can think of one, Chris Como. He goes on to have that problem. I don't know if he's still dealing with it, but it is a thing that he had. You can have respiratory and heart symptoms, difficulty breathing or shortness of breath, coughing, chest pain, fast beating or pounding heart, also known as heart palpitations. And let me tell you something. I'm someone who has had COVID twice. I had a suspected case in early 2020, and this past winter's virus season, which is a really bad virus season, COVID did get me at the end of 2024 into this year, and here I am. I'm still dealing with issues. Headaches is something you can deal with. It's something I'm dealing with. And when it comes to heart palpitations, I've had 2 episodes of something, I don't know if that's what it was. I've had 2 episodes of something similar to that when doing some physical activity at work. So that, it can be scary where you're moving along, and all suddenly it's like, and you can feel that beating real quickly. You got to pause and take a break. All right. Difficulty thinking or concentration, sometimes referred to as brain fog. Been there, had that. Headaches. Yes, I just mentioned that. That's an ongoing issue for me. I'm eventually going to probably get an MRI. Sleep problems. You can have new sleep problems. Dizziness when you stand up or lightheadedness. That's an issue as well. Sleep problems. Do you ever hear people in the office nowadays say on or about, I don't know, lunchtime or 1 o'clock in the afternoon, gosh, I'm so tired. Why am I constantly tired? What's going on? Have you had COVID? Question yourself. If any of these things I'm listing so far pertain to you, question yourself. Have you had COVID? If you had, it could be why these problems are happening. And if you want to take it a step further, question yourself. Did you have these problems before 2020? There's the better question. A lot of people say, well, no, this didn't really happen back before 2020. All right, we can go on. Pins and needles feeling, change in taste and smell, depression or anxiety. And you know what? The pandemic back in 2020 itself, back at the start of it, we're still in a pandemic because long COVID, that is a pandemic within itself. Back in 2020, when everything shut down, schools, you had to do virtual work from home, that was so stressful and it created so much anxiety. Diarrhea can happen again and again. You can have all kinds of digestive symptoms. Just a little side note, if you happen to go to a GI specialist and they tell you COVID cannot cause GI issues, that's a bunch of bunk. There are a lot of studies that show it can. Stomach pain? Yeah, my first round in 2020, that was an issue. Shortness of breath? Yep, I'm now diagnosed with asthma. That came after infection number 1, constipation, joint, muscle pain, rashes. Weird rashes, I've had them once in a while. Can never figure out what that's from. If in doubt, if you've had COVID more than once, chances are it could be from COVID. But there's something big that COVID can do. Something really big that is really concerning and maybe leading to more severe cases of other viruses and more cases in general. Weakened immune systems. The COVID-19 virus can go on to weaken your immune system. And we got several sections on my site for COVID studies. It's categorized, I should say. And one of them is COVID's impact on the immune system. And just recently, I even added a new one. Studies suggest COVID-19 infection no longer grants long-lasting immunity. We'll get to that one in just a little bit. COVID-19 study suggests long-term damage to immune system. Yeah, that's not good. Long COVID seems to make distinct changes to the immune system. Long COVID has more than 200 potential symptoms, as I mentioned, and can affect almost every organ in the body. Yeah, COVID can be a vascular disease, with more than 65 million people now estimated to live with this often disabling condition worldwide. It is a disabling condition. Some people have to actually go on disability for COVID, long COVID, because they're just not able to do their daily task anymore, or they're just constantly feeling sick. It's a real issue, constantly feeling sick. And long COVID, making changes to the immune system, can be a part of the reason. And then we come back to this. COVID-19 studies suggest long-term damage to the immune system. Well, guess what, guys? If your immune system's damaged, any bug, virus, cold, anything you come in contact, you're going to pick up. And you're going to be sick again and again. And the more you keep getting sick, the more your immune system keeps getting worn out. Not a good thing whatsoever. It's actually a really bad thing. Then we come over to this, and there's problems with the virus itself. Remember, COVID has many different variants. So while you may have had one variant, that may not provide much immunity to a future variant. Meaning, you can get COVID in shorter periods of time. Yeah, back in 2020, a lot of people were saying, oh, well, once you've had COVID, you're immune. Wrong. COVID went on to mutate and cause more variants. COVID went on to do many different things. And the vaccine came out, and it did a great job initially at keeping infections down. In fact, at one point, it almost looked like, hey, we might actually be coming out of this. Then came Delta, then came Omicron, and a whole bunch of variants later. And here we are, COVID's still a thing. Breakthrough infections are real. The vaccine was not 99.9999999% effective at preventing infections. Infections still happen because the virus continues to evolve and constantly changes. Each and every day, there's something changing with this virus. We don't always hear about it because you don't get many news reports on it anymore. But listen to this. New research suggests that natural immunity after a COVID-19 infection has fallen sharply since Omicron became the dominant variant, meaning people are getting COVID again and again in shorter amounts of time. There have been people who have had COVID, let's just say, last winter. Then they had it again in the summer. It has happened with political figures. Yes, there is a section on my site where I archive various different people who have had COVID, and several of them have had COVID again and again within short periods of time. Of course, we know about Whoopi Goldberg. Maybe you don't. Whoopi Goldberg has had COVID several times. I always like to reference that one. Yeah, that's pretty bad. This study was published on February 11th, 2025. You can go over to my website and you can find this study. Let's continue on here. COVID also does damage to the lungs. COVID does damage to the heart. Yeah, maybe you're saying, oh, people are having more strokes and heart attacks. What? Have they had COVID? Ask the person. Don't be afraid to ask. Just do it. Have they had COVID? Did they ever have any heart issues, brain issues, diabetes, lung issues? Did they ever have any of these issues prior to 2020? Because I got to tell you something else, folks. Asymptomatic COVID is real. And even asymptomatic people, in other words, you have COVID, but you have absolutely zero symptoms. Even asymptomatic people can go on to develop post-COVID issues. Believe it, it's real. It is a real thing. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things that the COVID virus can do. And, oh yeah, I did want to share this with you. We mentioned it earlier. Here you go. Influenza in January 2025, this number is likely to change. 3,958 deaths. COVID, 3,925. Both numbers will likely come up a little bit more as some more deaths are found from those dates from that month of January. But influenza worse than COVID this year. You know why? Because COVID can damage the immune system, and now people who have had COVID, who are going on to develop influenza, are getting it more severe than if they never would have had the virus at all. Isn't that crazy? It's true, though. It's really happening. Take a look at this. People constantly getting sick from COVID again and again, leading to other people getting sick with other viruses more frequently, people having post-COVID issues. It's causing some problems. Study finds hospital occupancy rates up since COVID-19 pandemic. Colorado is doing better than the average, but yeah, there's a reason for that. When COVID first started, a lot of nurses, a lot of healthcare workers retired. But also early on, personal protective equipment, PPE, was hard to come by. Masking, hospital gowns, all that stuff. Face shields, yep, that would work as well. A lot of people got sick. A lot of healthcare workers, many of them are now disabled and deal with long COVID. From 2009 to 2019, the U.S. had an average of 802,000 staffed beds. That number has since dropped to 674,000. Now, there's a few other issues. Rural America is dealing with a problem with hospital capacity. Some rural hospitals have had to close due to budget issues. I can name here in my state of Pennsylvania. Some rural hospitals did have to close. But a lot of nurses, doctors, healthcare workers are dealing with burnout because this wave of illness. First off, it was multiple waves of COVID. Now it's severe waves of flu, norovirus. They just keep coming. And there's only so much they can take. There's only so much they can constantly handle. After a while, they just get burned out. Or they go on to have long COVID and they just physically can't do their jobs anymore. I mean, this is crazy what's going on. And now we are starting to see something else happen. we're starting to see viruses of the past that we thought we had under control come back. There's a big measles outbreak going on in Texas and New Mexico. Yeah, it's near 100 cases already just this year. We're only on February 21st today. That's the date that I'm recording this video of 2025. And we got the rest of the year to go. Well, there's many reasons for that. Immune systems being damaged, and plus, back at the start of the pandemic, there has been a huge hesitancy to get your child vaccinated for these other viruses. That is a real big problem. And because of that, because of all these problems like whooping cough pertussis, we continue to see all these school outbreaks and school issues. Now, take a look at this. There's a couple things we can do to maybe help prevent the spread of illnesses. I think we're beyond the point of fixing the immune system problem because so many people have a worn down immune system right now. I mean, there are some things you can do to help boost your immunity. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about what you can do to prevent the spread of illness, to prevent all these outbreaks that are going on in schools, nursing homes, you name it. Masking. Wearing a well-fitting, high-quality mask does actually work. I'm going to show you how to put this on. This is really simple. Just put it on like this. You make sure you have a tight fit. You make sure you close the gap up around your nose so nothing can seep in. And in most cases, this will work. Now, there's a lot of cases where one-way masking in a crowded setting just won't work. But if enough people take this step to wear a mask, guess what? It does actually prevent the spread of illness. But there's something else we can do to make it even better. Yes, there's actually something else we can do. And take a look at this first. There's a lot of studies here on my site that say masking does work. High quality masking does work. We can also clean the air with HEPA filtrated air purifiers. Take a look here. You see here, there go the bad particles. Out come the fresh, clean particles. And many air purifiers have a pre-filter, a carbon filter, and a HEPA filter. That magnets all of those bad air particles. Just imagine, if we had HEPA air purifiers going in schools, offices, colleges, grocery stores, restaurants, all these different places, it would be a heck of a lot safer. We would be cleaning the air, and we would dramatically, we wouldn't stop all virus cases if we did this and masking, but you know what? We would cut down the number of cases by far, significantly. Not just here in the U.S., but all around the world. And think about this. If we cut down the cases of viruses and people weren't constantly getting sick, you know what? We would actually probably save a lot of money. Less visits to specialists, doctors. I mean, let's face it. To get a specialist in some parts of the United States or other parts of the world is nearly impossible. I'm hearing some people say appointments are booked 1 year in advance. Yes, so you're not seeing things. People are really more sick now than they have ever been before. But if we take these simple steps, hey, we can actually help make people healthy again. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to say, wow, it sure feels nice not being sick so often? Well, if we start taking these simple steps, we can get to that point. Alrighty, folks, that's all I wanted to say. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. If you're new to my channel, subscribe down below. Hit that notification bell. Share this video with anyone you know. And, of course, leave your comments down below. Thanks for watching this special video. I really did enjoy putting this one together because this is, I hope it answered your questions. Maybe you're new to my channel and you clicked on this because you're just wondering why everyone's sick. Well, this is one of the reasons. It's not all of the reasons. There are many other reasons, such as self-behavior, human behavior, all kinds of different things. But I hope this helps shed some light as to just what's going on right now. Alrighty, folks. Thanks for watching. I'll see you all again next time for another video. Stay safe.